Hi friends and Tiny Home fam, this is Lindsay and I am creating a 30 tiny steps of sustainability video and also on Tiny Home Tuesday together. I love, 2-for-1s, right? 2 balloons with one arrow. So today's focus is all about personal sustainability. And here with me right now is a guest speaker, my brother.
Hello, everybody.
It's my brother Rob. We're on our walk. Here's the dog, Zoe. She's like wanting to go that way and this way. She doesn't really know a straight path. She hasn't learned that yet. Anyway, so I have been a good daughter. My parents have been amazing at letting me stay with my husband in the house as we pay down debt from the builder when that went bust with our tiny home. Wow, look at the sky. There you go. And also our trip, which who is to know that by going last year was actually really smart, even though financially it wasn't the best move, but we would have never gone to 12 festivals and done the work we did and probably launched Experience Tiny Home. So what's a little cash? Anyway, we're working on that. And part of living at my parents is that. But these headsets that my brother is sporting on his head has just helped me tremendously because there's a difference of opinion of political views in the household. And one of the news shows, which should not be mentioned, doesn't really fit my appetite. And it just so happens to go on at the time when I'm making dinner and needing to be outside in the kitchen. So in my own sustainability, and this is where we get into, I'll talk a bit about permaculture, but how is it going, Rob? You still hearing music from those speakers? So we are about half a block away from the house right now.
We went around at least 500 feet.
Yeah, and this is called, silent sound system. And we actually, here's the crazy thing, we got these headsets, 30 of them, for the campfire, the one in Paradise that wiped out. We had high visions of being able to go up there and, bring people some fun. This is all pre-COVID, but our tiny home had nowhere near. That fire was like November or something in the year, and our home wasn't done till next March. But we bought those, and we've taken them around. We've watched some videos at We Casa, the tiny home resort, and we've also watched them at Village Farms in Austin, Texas, both of my pilgrimages. If you guys don't know either of those, We Casa is a really cool one in Lyons, Colorado. Both of which, Lyons, Colorado, We Casa, you can go and rent a tiny home. Give it a try. Try before you buy. But I wanted to share with you a little bit about Zone Zero. Zone Zero is really a sort of the starter kit for permaculture. Permanent culture is really about what we create in the world. Can it continue our culture? So if you're going to use petroleum again and again, is it always going to be there? No. Does it create a lot of emissions to throw our climate into crisis? Yes. So it's not a permanent culture, scenario. But if you're using solar panels that are regenerative, I know the creation of solar does use heavy metals and fine metals. But let's get into doing swales or planting your garden in such a way where you have Zone 0 is yourself. Zone 1 might be your herb garden right next to your kitchen, all the way to Zone 5 where you've got fruit trees, far into land. I mean, some of these really apply. If you're in an apartment, you're probably Zone 0 to Zone 1 or 2. If you're on a lot of acreage of land, then you've got more land to work with. And there's a lot of, I'm not a permaculture person, meaning I haven't really gone through the training, but I have so many friends that have, because I used to talk about biodiesel as Betty Biodiesel. That's a whole nother story for another day, and so is permaculture. But I want to leave you with this, that by choosing to listen to those headsets was a game changer for me, because I was having to kind of listen, just because I didn't have anything on my head to shift the sound to. I was having to listen to information that I didn't want to bring into my system. You know, a lot of what I do is really watch and reduce a lot of the news. We've got the COVID news, we got the political news, and I need to be working on like tiny homes. This morning I woke up and talked to Michelle Williams, who has a PhD in public housing, and we're focusing on tiny homes. Tomorrow morning I wake up at 7 o'clock and I deliver a presentation to the Sonoma County Executive Association all about tiny homes. So, and in between there and this time, I'm doing this video and doing a whole bunch of other things. So I've got to keep my mindset clear and ready, and with like this energy I'm feeling right now of optimism. You know, my archetype is the muse. It's the muse, it's the sage, it's the advocate. And the muse is very optimistic, it's very, you know, open. The sage is very like down the rabbit hole, get the data, the details. And the advocate is bring the solutions to the people. So I stand here as a happy muse today versus yesterday where I didn't have the solution, and today I do. So sustainability is really, it starts with ourselves. It starts with our mindset. It starts with what we're putting into our mind. And a lot of it has to do with weighing what makes you feel good. You know, if what you're watching or who you're around isn't feeling good, that may need to shift. And that's hard sometimes, but waking up to surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. Now, obviously during this COVID time, I've been missing dance like crazy. So I put those speakers on and was able to like move around and dance, you know, whatever your inspiration may be, whatever brings you peace and joy and happiness, especially now, like self-care, super high, because even if the politics you're not watching or whatever, it's still, we're all being affected. You know, just the second you have to put on a mask and go into a store, we're all being impacted. And so how do we take care of ourselves? How do we take care of zone zero to be sustainable? Okay, because every choice happens from there. And I would go so far as to say that those that are in like serious survival, like needing to find food, they're really not thinking about recycling. And I don't think they should have to. I think those of us that have the luxury to be thinking about our sustainability, those are the ones that need to step up, to make changes in our lives. And if it means that you recognize there's some patterns that may not be really healthy in your life, going and get therapy and going and getting a coach, going and getting, you know, anything that can support you to shift that, you know, and to reduce the trauma. It's really about releasing trauma. I have poured thousands upon thousands of dollars into my therapy and coaching. And at times I've needed both because I couldn't really deal with a marketing plan or execute something in a business world if I was like hung up on a trauma that happened to me when I was 5. And there were some traumas that happened to me when I was younger that were so deep that were kind of blocking my ability to be optimistic, to be confident, to be capable of making the next steps. So 30 tiny steps to sustainability, zone 0. Start with yourself. All right, everyone, have a great day. Happy Tiny Home Tuesday.